welcome to Tom Papa's Come to Papa.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Come to Papa, your favorite podcast among all the other podcasts. Hope you're doing well. It is the unofficial start of summer. Very exciting. You can feel it. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. It's 100 degrees. People, I haven't seen one male with their shirt on in the city.
Yeah, and they haven't been working out at all, have they?
No, they don't care. Every shape, every size, every weird tattoo all over their bodies. Nobody cares. It's finally warm here, and people are taking their clothes off as fast as they possibly can.
Barbecue on the river.
Ridiculous.
The river's on fire again.
I have a beautiful view of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Big Brown Stadium, where they have not had a win in 55 years. 55 years that their football team has not had a winning game. It's an amazing, amazing streak. People continue to fill up the stadium, though. They continue to go. But they're very excited here because of Cleveland beating Paul's Boston Celtics, which we'll get to in a minute. And they're going to the championship against the Warriors. Paul has got to be very angry about it, especially after his very confident prediction at game time.
Prediction?
My new
I
book.
don't have any prediction.
My book. Yeah, you gave me a prediction. We'll get to it. My big book is coming out a week from today, June 5th. It's finally here after all that time. Oh, it's so exciting. It's finally coming out. I'll be doing a live signing at Barnes & Noble's this Thursday, the 31st, in New York City at Union Square, Barnes & Noble. I'll be doing an event at the Javits Center. Go to tompapa.com because I'm coming to a lot of places. I'm coming to Portland. I'm coming to Phoenix. I'm coming to New Jersey, Ridgewood, New Jersey, back near my hometown. I'm going to Washington, D.C. I'm doing a big book signing in L.A. at Book Soup. Very exciting time, lots of events. And if you're not able to come to any of those events, this is how easy I'm making it for you. On June 6th at 7 p.m. East, there will be an online book signing. So wherever you are in the world, you'll be able to link in through Facebook Live, and you will be able to talk to me, give me your name, and I will give you a signed book for your summer. I would say carry it around all summer. Carry it proud. At the beach. Remember when the Da Vinci Code came out and everybody was like, wow, look at that book. What's that book about? Everywhere you went, someone was reading that dumb book. Well, I want my book to be the dumb book of the summer.
Yeah, you should have done it like a
going on.
bright orange or something, so it was like noticeable.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good idea. I'm sorry to swallow, but I just went for a run because I'm here working on the Top Secret Bread Show and ate a lot of stuff today. And I got back from it and literally put on my running shoes and went for a run because I am big and fat today.
It is top secret, but I did eat at a diner with one of my good buddies, and his friend was along, and he was just asking something, or he was asking about our podcast, my friend, and the other kid was like, "Oh yeah, he's got that bread show, right?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, how did you know about that?" And he's like, "Oh, I worked at that office. I heard about it like in February."
That's funny. Well, that guy's really in the know. We'll be making a formal announcement. A formal announcement coming up. I'm going to announce on Joe Rogan on the 11th, and the day
cool.
before I go.
But just so you know, they did throw a party on your behalf, and you weren't invited. So I think they threw at the office. At the
they did?
The production company. They were all excited. He said said it was a huge day at the office. I was like, oh, we should have got invited.
Yeah, we didn't even get a call.
Got some food or something. We'll come down to an office and pretend to work.
Well, let's start off with this, Paul. Oh, Roseanne. Oh, Roseanne Barr. How quick, how dumb, how crazy. What are you doing? Do you know how hard Paul and I are working in show business? Trying to be good people while putting together shows, just trying to get a little shot at entertaining the American public. We scratch and claw every day. She makes this amazing comeback against all odds, comes back and blows it big time by just tweeting out a horribly racist tweet about a former Trump attorney, and says that she looks like the child of the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. If they had a baby, that Valerie, whatever her name is, the place goes crazy, and now her show is gone. All those people are gone. All of that money for the network, all of those people on the crew working, all just come tumbling down, and she's not going to work again. She's not going to work again. So stupid. So, Paul, whatever racist comments you have stored up, get them out now when nobody knows you. Get them out now before it counts.
Well, the funny thing is that, to even make that reference, it has to be a racist reference. Nobody under 50 even knows about the Planet of the Apes. You know what I mean? Like, if they saw it, they would think it's just an outright racist thing to begin with. So to make that reference. And to be honest, like, in the last couple days, remember I had, like, there was a lot of, like, racist kind of posting stuff on Facebook, like, maybe last year. And I kind of thinned out the herd a little bit. And just in the last few days, for some reason, there's been, like, 4 or 5 people just saying super racist things.
On your Facebook?
No, on other people's comments, but it also is like, it's kind of like your backyard. Like, if somebody's saying something super racist on your page and other people are seeing it, like if I'm offended by it or I don't want to see it, then I'm just going to unfriend you. So the whole thing is like, do you have that conversation with that person, or should obviously they know better? Especially if they don't see it or something, but if they're commenting back like, "Oh, that's wrong," ha ha. You know what I mean? Like if they're making a joke about it, I'm like,
you mean wait? So let me follow this. So you're saying you go on Facebook, you go on like your friend's page, and someone else has said something racist on his page, and then you have to evaluate their reaction to it.
Well, my thing is there's probably a handful of people that have always kind of been on my radar. Like, why does this guy always say something kind of right-wing or racist on a post that isn't even really political, And never, I do a charity show. I do a fundraiser for cancer. Never hear from this guy. And and all of a sudden, something comes out about the NFL players. Like there's a thing about Steve Kerr, like saying, how he thinks that the NFL thing, not letting the players protest, is wrong. And his father, I don't know if you know this, like the Golden State Warriors coach, Steve Kerr, like he played with Michael Jordan. He's won 6 rings playing, and then I don't know how many he's won coaching. And he was born in, I think, Beirut, and his father was like a world-renowned professor of against Islamophobia and like did all this work, and he was assassinated in 1984 by terrorists in Beirut. And so and this was like when he was in college, like playing in the national championship, like it was a really big deal. And so for a guy like that who's been through that, and his dad basically died for kind of the beliefs of this country, for somebody to just say, he's never put his life on the line or something like that. I just kind of said, hey, you should probably research. His dad was actually assassinated, and he probably is more in touch with, what is important about America than you guys are. And it's just a very, you just get like a very ignorant reaction. Like if somebody told me that and I didn't know better, and I was like, oh, holy cow, I had no idea. But these, the people that are ignorant just kind of want to stay in their own bubble and not want to know, So it's I just don't understand anybody that starts tweeting about racist stuff. It's just so insane. I just can't believe that we're back to that point. But it's kind of like, oh, so this is existing here in our country, which we didn't really see for a while, and now it's all popped up. But just the show business idiocy of Roseanne. Maybe she just didn't like that she had the show. I don't know. What do you think? You think that she got boozy or something and just tweeted something in the dark? Well, she's always been completely nuts. Like, obviously. Like,
yeah.
And not in a way where, like, hey, I'm going to go take care of myself. Like, in a way where I'm not ever talking to my family again. I'm going to isolate myself. I'm going to... Like, if you saw her tweets before, it was all conspiracy theory stuff. Like, she's really into all those weird conspiracy things. And when somebody... it shows a lot when, like, you don't really talk to other people, or nobody's like, hey, you're acting crazy, right? I was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, you need a friend.
No, but she was that way her whole life. I mean, she's, we know people that worked on that show, and, writers. She would cycle through writers and showrunners like left and right, even back when it was successful, back in the original run. So she's definitely been that person. It's not that big of a surprise, but what is hilarious is that she was like, I'm a Trump supporter. My character's a Trump supporter. I'm a supporter in real life. And Donald Trump's up there going, did you see those ratings? And they're talking about us. They're talking about us. Yeah. And then blammo, she comes out with that tweet. Oh, so stupid. She had the world by the collar, just ready to. I mean, she had it all. She could ride that show, stand-up gigs, endorsements. She had it all, and now no one's even going to book her to do a live show anywhere. Who puts that show on sale? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, like, there's almost a market for that now. Like, these people that are, like, kind of openly racist and don't want to be told what is racist. You know what I mean? Like, I think her thing was...
The king of racist comedy tour?
Well, I mean, it's definitely, that's kind of why the right-wing thing becomes, very confusing, because I'm like, the same people that were criticizing Michelle Wolf for, like, saying all these jokes and, wow, that went over the line, are the people that are defending Roseanne, and I don't think that's a coincidence,
Right.
Do you? I mean, that's
boy.
What I was just. There's just a guy on there that somebody was talking, and he was just like, Michelle Wolf ruined corporate comedy for everyone, and she went up there without all these jokes. Meanwhile, there's the greatest group of writers that are writing these correspondent things every year. It's always the same people, so it's not like she just went rogue and wrote her own jokes, and I thought it was funny. And, people who just choose their battles like that, there's always something going on in the background. So,
yeah. Well, look, I think that the way that people it's kind of shaken out. I think people either have decided that they're going to be in a constant state of fighting, or you're going to be a rational human being, which I think is most of the people, where you keep an eye on the news just like an intelligent person, and you have your opinions and you do whatever, but you're not defined by, con men in business suits in politics. That's part of your life. That's part of the ether. That's part of the news that you watch. It's part of the culture, but it doesn't define who you are, what you are, and you don't spend all of your night and day fighting with other human beings about it because you've got so much other stuff that you truly have to do and tend to. And why we're only here for a short time. Why are you going to spend all your time doing that? I think that's most people's attitude. But then you have people on the fringes. You have people far left. You have people far right who are just in complete battle mode all the time. And ABC gave one of them a TV show. so it kind of exploded. What a dummy. So what about, so you did give me a prediction. You said that the Celtics would win by 15 and that LeBron would leave Cleveland for another team.
Yeah, which I still think is going to happen. That's not like news to anybody. He's pretty much done. He hates the owner. He doesn't like this team that he's gotten to the. Basically, what happened is like the Celtics were like an also ran. Their all-star got hurt the first game of the season against Cleveland, so they were like on fumes the whole way. They had Kyrie Irving. He was their only star, and he ended up just. They had to shut it down. He had to get like knee surgery halfway through the season, so. They ended up with all these like 20 and 21-year-olds that are playing, and they ended up playing like having this amazing run. And even when they weren't supposed to win in the playoffs, like the first round, they played Milwaukee. They weren't supposed to win. They won. Then they weren't supposed to be the Sixers, and then they won. And then when they got to play the Cavs, and the Cavs weren't playing that well, they're like, wow, the Celtics actually have a chance. So they won the first two games by 30 points. At home, and then everyone was already burying LeBron, which they shouldn't have done anyway. It's not like the Celtics were that amazing. It was just the Cavs really didn't have anybody. And, you know, and then the Cavs win two games pretty convincingly, and then goes back and forth, and then it goes to a Game 7, and the Cavs don't have their other all-star, Kevin Love, because he got a concussion. So it was almost like...
Right.
They almost wore them out. So if the Celtics did play like a normal game, they would have won by 15 points, but they didn't. They shot the worst that they'd had all season. They scored 79 points. This is like the equivalent of batting like 150 in baseball. So, they didn't. They just didn't show up, and they're young, but it would have been an experience for them anyway. But I mean now. For the Cavs to, especially being this worn down and to play against Golden State, it's gonna kind of affect everything because the Warriors beat them twice, and then Cleveland had this like amazing comeback where they were down 3-0, I think, and came all the way back and won it. So. The titles between Steph Curry and LeBron are 2-1 right now. So if Steph goes up 3-1, then it does kind of affect how big, how much LeBron is, his legacy, because everyone's now talking about how he's the greatest of all time. So what happens when they get swept by a better team,
Yeah, but don't you think it is like it is impressive that he's gone this far? Don't you think it does help? It has helped his legacy that he just decided he was going to carry this. I mean, that's unheard of that one man takes a team like that.
Well, but that's the thing. It's like Westbrook does that with Oklahoma City. It's not him just deciding. This is by design. He's got the ball 80% of the time, so of course he's going to shoot most of the time. A lot of shots he's just taking like these 35-footers, and they just don't run an offense. And if you watch the Warriors, like last night even, they've got 3 all-stars that are just slinging 3-pointers, and they were down 12 in their Game 7, and then they were up by 16 like 3 minutes later. So, so it's going to be tough for Cleveland to like compete because basically Cleveland plays like a slow down physical game, and the Warriors just run. So it's just usually it ends up being like they just outscore everyone. They don't even worry about guarding. LeBron will probably get like 45 every game, but it won't matter.
So it seems to me that you think LeBron is not the greatest of all time.
No, because I still believe like the best players are the ones that make the teammates better. And for whatever reason, he's never kind of allowed a great coach to come in. He had to leave his team to join a team that already won the title with the Heat. Like he had to, and every All-Star that plays with him, like Kyrie, they all leave to go somewhere else. So don't you think that's weird that like nobody wants to play with him? If he is
I think it's
greatest?
weird, but I also think just watching him, it literally seems like everybody else on the court, and this is the best players in the NBA, start to look like high school kids. Like I've never seen someone that made everybody, like when you were in high school, there was always like some kid who was like on the track to go to the pros who just looked like a man playing children. And LeBron seems to do that at that level.
Well, yeah, he does, which also makes it weird when he does get beat pretty handily. You know, like the Celtics beat them. That was the reason he left Cleveland for the first time. And, you know, when the Warriors kind of destroyed them a couple times, too.
But that seems like the way it should go. A team should be able to beat one man. You know what I mean? One man should not be able to beat a team.
Right, but when Magic or Bird or any of these guys that had a full team, you know, they always had 2 or 3 guys that ended up becoming all-stars just from playing with them. And LeBron seems to, and Jordan was kind of the same way. Like Jordan didn't want like a full offense, and neither did Kobe. They kind of want to be the person, and then if they decide they need a guy who can shoot 3-pointers. If you know he gets double teamed, they need a big guy that can just rebound and pass the ball to him. Like he gets all these specialty players. They've never, you know, that's why when Kyrie left, because he was the point guard and he had the ball. And when they did win the title, Kyrie was definitely the difference. Like he had a couple 40-point games, and LeBron obviously didn't want to play that way.
Will you admit that you're jealous of LeBron because he was in Amy Schumer's movie?
that
Trainwreck, and you thought that should have been your part.
Any better. He seems very incredulous every time there's a foul called. No, I will say there's definitely people that think I'm not a LeBron hater. Like it's for him to be 30, I think he is 32. I actually think he's like 45. He definitely looks way older. He looked like that when he was 18. But but for him to be in that great of shape, you know, he's 6'8", like 260. Like he's definitely up there with like Bo Jackson as like the greatest athlete of all time. But as a basketball player, if you see Steph Curry and him go, you know, on the same court, you're like, of course LeBron's going to win. And then Steph Curry just constantly beats him. So what does that say about it?
Well, not constantly. He did lose to him in the championship.
What's that?
LeBron beat Curry in the championship, didn't he?
Well, once, yeah. But that was when Kyrie was there. Kyrie is the one that outplayed Steph that year. Kyrie had like 41 points. And so that's why when they won that title, everybody thought they were going to stay together for like a decade, Kyrie and LeBron. And apparently they didn't get along that well because Kyrie left out of nowhere to go to Boston for some reason. So that's the weird thing. So
I was rooting for your Boston guys. I mean, I'm here in Cleveland, so a little of that rubbed off. But I think the nation kind of definitely respects Boston and thinks that those young guys are going to do something. So I think you're going to have a lot of good years of basketball ahead.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, like, their best player was 20 years old this year. He was in high school 2 years ago. So, and he was a guy that wasn't even supposed to play this year. I mean, they have two like MVP level all-stars that were hurt the entire season. So this was all like house money anyway. But because of, you know, they have this great young coach and they have this system in place that like everyone who seemingly kind of comes into the game plays well. That's, you know, it's almost like the Warriors, the Spurs play like that with Coach Popovich. There's like 2 or 3 teams that like they kind of have a system instead of having it based around one star player, and those are always the teams that end up either like competing for championships or winning multiple ones. So hopefully, I mean, if everyone stays healthy, you know, everyone was hurt. Those guys weren't even on the bench for Game 7 because they were still rehabbing. So We'll see.
I wonder how many of our listeners are saying to themselves, "Damn, Paul really knows his basketball."
Well, you were there with
I never heard him.
my buddy.
I never heard him
right?
talk like this.
The LA Times
No,
guy.
it's true.
And he asked me about basketball, so I still feel like. But then,
I don't think our listeners have ever heard your in-depth analysis until this moment.
You never get involved with basketball. That was why it's weird that you even. I thought you were drinking that night. You sent me some weird face, and I didn't know that was about the game.
Oh, that's funny. I was wondering why. I thought maybe I sent you the squinty, tongue out, one eye open, like after you lost. And I thought maybe you took offense to it because you really wanted to win. You thought I was.
Oh no, I thought you were in New York or something, and you were like, I don't know if you went to like the Yankee game or something, but
no, I've been in Cleveland doing this show, and so I try not to drink and stay out too much because I got to be up early and be filming. So I've caught both games. I caught most of it sitting in my room. And then had awful room service last night. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
This is the problem with doing the show is that you see a lot of really amazing places and people are doing the amazing things with food, and then you so when you get something that's bad, you're just like, it seems so much worse.
Yeah,
than
you
ever
get
before.
really judgmental.
Yeah, I was excited. I was going to try and see a baseball game here in Cleveland, but the timing just isn't working out. They're here playing, but I got some stuff to do.
Yeah, you got to get lucky and
nice
get
stadium.
like a day game or something going on. Like San Francisco is cool because they had like that Wednesday afternoon game, which is like perfect.
Yeah. I was in. You ever go to the place Slyman's here in Cleveland?
I don't
it's
think
a
so.
corned beef place. It's a
it's a
famous corned beef place. They do a lot of corned beef and stuff. And he was telling me that on the week of St. Patrick's Day, they sell like 3 tons of corned beef because people get so into it during St. Patrick's Day. And I have to say, I just learned that Ireland has taken over in the taken the lead in the number of listeners we have from another country.
Oh,
we were
way.
in Norway for a long time, and we all hailed the people of Norway. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I don't know what it is. Maybe they started seeing pictures of you online and your white pasty skin. But the Irish have shown up big time for Come to Papa.
I thought Greece was going to get a bump after the last couple weeks. We were kind of
Yeah, I know. It didn't happen. Not yet.
You should
the
put
Greek
more
people
about Greece in the info.
They haven't heard about my possible conversion yet. I actually
Greek
ran into
Italian
somebody
comedian Tom Papa.
Yes, that would be a good way to go. Get both of them.
Yeah.
Take Basil and Sebastian's crowds and make them merge into one.
Then they get competitive. They get competitive over you. They want to. There's
That's
one side that
ingenious.
wants you.
That's brilliant. Here at Hilarities is the comedy club here in Cleveland, and Nick Kostis is a Greek fella, and he was telling me the same thing that his friend is Italian that lives in Sicily, and they all call him Greek all the time. So it seems
What does
to
he
be
think? Does he think you're Greek or no? He's like it seems like all the real Greek guys think you're Greek.
Yeah, he knows I'm Italian. I've been playing at his club forever, and he knows that I'm Italian, but he doesn't really buy it because whenever he talks about the Greeks, he talks about it in the we as a we kind of a thing.
Okay.
We are that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, so I think he doesn't truly believe.
Oh, okay.
So how long are you in LA for?
I'm here for a while. I'm just working on a few things here, and I got some big dental things going on.
Ooh, the big dental stuff.
Yeah. So
What happened with your eyeballs?
No, I just got a new prescription. I didn't have anything new. It was just, when you've been on the road so long and you're like, you have to get your appointments updated and kind of the dental stuff has always been a pain, like, on the road. I've been lucky that I had, like, a tooth break, I think, in December, and had to get that fixed, like, immediately. And so now I just have, like, some time, so I just got to get it done, you know what I mean? You never deal with that, right? I guess you do a little bit, but...
What, with having to get appointments?
No, the dental stuff. Your teeth are pretty good.
No, I have that. My dentist is they constantly, you can't go in there without them looking in your mouth and saying you need 50 procedures, all totaling $20,000.
Right.
Every time I go in, they're upselling me and trying to get me to spend more and more money, and then it makes it impossible to go in there. It's like almost going to like a used car salesman every time you go. They're nice people. The woman who does like the cleaning and stuff is amazing. She's really good. But then then they send in these other people and they do this whole speech that you have the biggest tragedy going on, so they can just charge you a whole bunch of money and you don't even need the work done. So I just need a dentist that's just honest and just isn't trying to pay for their fancy water fountains in the lobby.
Yeah,
I just noticed the Yankee game is on in the background, and
they're playing the Astros again.
Yeah, and Lenny Marcus, our comedian friend Lenny Marcus, is sitting in the front row behind home plate because he's friends with Leslie Jones from Saturday Night Live, and
right.
If you ever watch the Yankee games, those seats, like behind home plate, are Lorne Michaels seats. There's
are they?
4 or 5 of them. Yeah, those are Lorne Michaels seats. So you always see like different show business people. Paul Simon shows up and stuff. And there's our friend Lenny Marcus, just sitting in there watching a baseball game.
Yeah, he went to the Olympics too, right? This guy goes everywhere.
Yeah, with Leslie. He's good friends with Leslie Jones. She's a big sports fan, and Lenny is, I will say, the best person to go to any sporting event with, because he doesn't drink, he's really funny, and he's really smart, and he's a statistician for the New York Giants.
Right.
So he remembers numbers, remembers stats, remembers all that stuff, but not in your face, I'm going to try and bowl you over with. You just hang out, you have a good time, and then any little information you need, he just has it at the tip of his tongue.
Right.
It's perfect. It's a hard thing to find a good person to go to a baseball game with.
For baseball, yep. I think he's probably...
Especially baseball.
He's probably... Well, basketball is really tough, too, because that's kind of the new dumb guy thing, and especially in New York, where everyone thinks the Knicks are the greatest team ever, even though they haven't won a championship in 50 years. So it's kind of annoying to go to, to go to basketball games with New York fans, even though they're supposed to know about basketball. But baseball, yeah. And especially for football, like, he knows everything about football, right? Well, at least with Giants, anyway.
Yeah. Football and football. Yeah, when I call him every preseason, say, so how are we going to look?
Right.
And he knows everything. He knows who's coming up. He knows all their stats. He knows what they're doing. The Houston Astros, by the way, sorry to be so sport heavy today, but the Houston Astros, the defending World Series champions, are going to win it again. They're poised to win it again. They have the top 3 pitchers in the American League. The first time that one team has had the top 3 at the same time since the 1950s.
What?
And they can still hit like crazy. That tiny 4-foot guy, Altuve, is still a beast. The Yankees are going to have... we might end up facing them again and trying to make it happen, but the Houston Astros are for real.
Yeah, they're a good team. And, yeah, Verlander pitched yesterday. And I think the more chances we have against them, the better, though. So that's why it's good to get these games out of the way now.
Yeah, I guess so. But you're going to see them in the playoffs. They have the top 3 pitchers. You win a World Series if those guys stay healthy.
Well, we couldn't hit him at all last year, and then at least they had a home run yesterday, even though Germany didn't pitch well.
I have got to get to a baseball game. I went to one baseball game. It was at Fenway Park, and it was sitting in the rain for 3 innings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I went to a good Giants game when we were in San Francisco. That was pretty good. I think that's it, though.
I need hot dogs.
Yeah, what did I do? I didn't get hot dog. I got, shoot. What did I get? I was going to go hot dog, but it wasn't the right time for it, I don't think. Oh, I went chicken tenders, which is a weird baseball.
No, that's great. Where are you going to order those? You're not going to go to a steakhouse and get them.
Yeah, but
baseball place where you're allowed to act like a 10-year-old.
Oh wait, you skipped over the Paul Simon thing. You talked about my friend Paul Simon being friends with Lorne Michaels.
Oh yeah, how was the concert?
So Tom, you know that it's his farewell tour, and I don't know, what's he got to be, 70? Is he that old?
He's 80.
No, really?
Yeah, Paul Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't we look it up?
I don't think so.
I think he's 82 or something.
No.
Let me look it up. Paul Simon.
And this one is like from Cobbs saw him the next night. She posted something about
76 years old.
Is he really? Holy cow. He was definitely... Yep. He definitely didn't look 76, and he was definitely high for the show.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. He was moving his hands a lot.
How do you know that just wasn't him being 76?
Because I've never been a 76-year-old that's pretending to do voodoo with his hands before. I don't know. He was just looking at his hands very strange and just moving them around and laughing. He seemed in good spirits, whatever medication he's on, and also this is a first, and that's not to say he wasn't. He was amazing. He was in the groove, and maybe that was just it. He just looked so happy because he had just played the show the night before, and there's a guy that I actually watched Yankee games with named Herman. He's his guitar tech. And I saw him on stage. That's my first music connection I've ever made at the Hollywood Bowl.
Wow.
But
that's cool.
But he played, I checked the set list, and he played like 26 songs and 3 encores. And I was like, wow, this is going to be a great show. And so I go, and he plays like, a few normal ones, and then he plays a bunch of the stuff from Graceland. So he brings out all the original like guys from Africa and stuff. And they played, remember that Obvious Child and Graceland, stuff like that?
Sure.
So he plays Obvious Child with all the drums. He's got a bunch of drummers on there. And then the place is going bananas. And then he's like, hey, did you guys like that one? And everyone goes cheering. And he's like, do you want us to play it again? And then everyone cheers again. So I thought it was like a goof, but he actually played the whole song again. Which I've never seen before. Have you?
No.
So that was pretty cool.
That's funny.
And that wasn't like in the set list or anything. He just did it for some reason. So I thought that was kind of cool that you see something different. So
how good was the show?
It was.
Would you give it a?
Let's see.
Would you give it a 4-star rating?
Yeah, it's probably.
How many stars out of 10?
8? Yeah.
8.
There wasn't a...
Nice.
He didn't play Mrs. Robinson, which I found weird, right? I guess you gotta make...
it's weird in L.A.
I guess you gotta make choices.
I guess.
And then...
in L.A., it is pretty weird.
And then apparently he hates playing the 59th Street Bridge song. And I guess he screwed up the lyrics to some song before that. So he's like, I'm going to punish myself and sing this song so I never screw up the lyrics again. Like that was his own punishment for screwing up the other song. But, yeah, I would say it was a weird, like, what would you think he would close the show on? Like, what's your closing?
He would close the show on The Boxer.
No. his closing was, I guess this was the thinking, that if you're going to do 3 encores, you do the first 2 that are high energy, and then the last one is, I think the end of the second one was the boxer, and then he came out and played Sounds of Silence by himself and then just left. Isn't that weird?
That's cool.
Yeah, it was
no,
kinda
if it's his
different.
farewell tour.
But
Yeah, that makes sense.
it was almost like leaving
It's
church.
fading off into the sunset.
But it was like, when people
Yeah,
leave
that's
and
the way
it's
you
just
want
kind
it.
of quiet and you just walk out.
Yeah, in reverence for this man who's you're never gonna see again.
Yeah, it was pretty
cool.
It was cool. Because you never know, man. I mean,
Who'd you go with?
My sister.
Oh, weren't you on a date?
No. My friend Lisa, she's the music person. She like handles all the stuff for Motorhead and all these kind of heavy metal bands. But we've gone to a couple shows.
Right.
She's like a big music person. There's a bunch of people in town. Ray LaMontagne's at the Greek Theater Sunday. You're missing it.
I got too much to do. I'm on a book tour and a TV tour and a stand-up tour.
You should have asked to
Too
open
much
for those
going on.
guys or something with your book.
Maybe I could open for them in August.
So what's going on?
That
You
would
got
be
to tell
fun.
me where you've been so far. So are you basically going to a different city every day?
No, the book stuff doesn't even start till Thursday when I start with Colin, and then I'm going to be in a lot of different places all at once. But right now, it's all bread.
Oh, okay.
A lot of bread stops.
And everything's good?
So I'm here in Cleveland for a little bit. Yeah, everything's good. It's a lot of fun. Doing the same thing I was doing before it was a show, running around and meeting people that make bread and bake goods and all this amazing food and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Now, have you needed anyone to eat dessert or to feed an egg to yet? Or is that the next season?
Next season is when we strap you down and make you eat eggs.
And dessert? Are you approaching dessert at all, or is it just all bread?
No, of course. We're doing anything that's a baked good.
Oh, okay. So has anything opened your
Yeah.
mind or been like super amazing that you never really liked before?
Yeah, there's been some surprises for sure. There's been some definitely learning a bunch too, like learning how to do certain things from some really talented people. Some stuff is like some different cultures and stuff that bake things that I didn't even know existed. Those are really cool. Yeah, it's all good. I'll get more into it as we move along.
Yeah, I mean, that pastry thing, especially when we went to Tartine, I was never a big pastry guy because I guess I never had, like, anything that fresh or that was, like that perfect. But when I had, like, even like a cannoli, I don't think I've had, like, an amazing cannoli yet. Like, I need to seek out these places.
Well, I am making, you will get from the show a list of amazing places around the country that you will have to visit, as will everyone who watches.
Oh, cool.
That's the kind of the best part of it. It's like, here are some amazing people in this town making amazing things and shining a little bit of a light on that, which will be very cool.
Yeah, awesome. And so, are you?
Yeah, and that's why I just went for a run, because I don't want to become big and fat.
Yeah. So
I just
what
don't want
is
to be
your
a big chubster.
What is your the way that you're doing it? Do you have a spit bucket? Are you only eating certain pastries, or what's going on?
I'm eating it all.
Yeah, you just
I'm
said,
eating it all.
you said
I don't want to
screw
be
it.
spitting things out. And come on, live a little. It's not like I'm eating it every day. I'm just I'm gonna chow down. And you go to these places and the stuff is so amazing that you're only gonna be there like this one time probably.
Right.
I ain't spitting that out. I'm gonna enjoy it. I mean, that's the theme of the show is, enjoy your life. So what? Do a run around the block if you have to. You don't eat like this every day, so eat when you can and enjoy it. From in some amazing place in New York, and this guy has dedicated his life to making this dessert. You bet I'm going to eat it. We all should.
Have you thought about like wearing a fat suit for the filming, but then when you do press, you can be skinny Tom and everyone will say how good you look?
No, but I can tell that the people that make the show wouldn't mind if I was a little fatter. I think a chubby guy talking about this stuff would make people feel good.
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm a little chubby anyway, so my head is always chubby.
Yeah, I don't
So on
think
TV,
that would be funny if you're like, you looked like 50 pounds heavier in the show, and then and then when you come on like Colbert or Conan, you look like, oh yeah, you look great, Tom.
Yeah. It's funny.
That's the way to go.
All right, well, I got to run.
Okay, man.
I got to run. Good talking to you. Good talking to all of you. As I said, go to tompapa.com and look up all of the book events. Portland, Phoenix, Washington, New York, New Jersey, all over the place. Check out Paul's stuff on paulswebsite.com and check out his new special. And we will talk to you shortly. It's summer, guys. Enjoy your life.